sleeping with my clothes in. Anyways, I was trying to stay up to try to do some work. I need to break up how I do Tuesday. Maybe I need to move it to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Or I don't know if it's just this week because I'm here visiting family and and people are just wanting a lot of my attention. And I mean, it's not just that. I'm I'm here, so I'm wanting to see people at the same time, but just kind of forgetting, like, oh, I'm tired. and like today is like my free day, but I still need to finish some work. And usually when I'm home, like I'm able to balance it out, right? For whatever, and I don't know why I can't hear. I think I was just getting used to my schedule at home, and now here, like my sister called me this morning. She's like, "Are you gonna come visit?" And I had wanted to, but for whatever reason, this week with my clients, yesterday was a little more intense. It's been a while that I deal with that, and so it's just like, oh, I'm tired. Like energetically, I just felt tired, and so I tried to stay up to do some work, but I ended up knocking out. And I gave myself permission to, just because, you need sleep to function. I woke up at 2 in the morning because I went to bed I fell asleep. I was only supposed to take a nap for 20 minutes. And it was 8:30 and I put the nap on, but I ended up sleeping until 2. So I woke up and I was like, well, that's 5 hours of sleep. I could potentially keep myself up. But I was still feeling exhausted, so I went back to bed. And now it's 7:30. It's October 21. So I'm gonna go for a run today. I'm gonna go have lunch with another family cousin sister, and then I wanted to come home because the kids were last night. So I work until 8, and the kids go to bed at 8:30. So I try to go down for prayer and to be part of that routine with them. And I got there a little late yesterday. And they're like, "We knew you were gonna come down. We knew you were gonna come down." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here." And so we did prayer again all together. They're like, "Can we do it again?" I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like, "Nina, tomorrow you don't work, right? You don't work tomorrow." I'm like, "No, I don't work." And then like, "So you'll be home?" So I wanted to make sure I'm here in the afternoon just to spend time with them. But my sister called me. She called me last night, but I was working when she called me. And she called me this morning. I was like, I just tried to sleep. And she's like, "I'm so sorry, but this is the only time I could call." She works during the day. "Are you gonna come visit?" And so tomorrow I'm gonna go visit, even though I work until 8. She's like, "Come after 8. I'm like, "Okay." So there's just this feeling of like giving of energy, right? And I'm sharing this because it's connected to my dream. In my dream, there was that consistent there was this pull from people of me. People were seeking my attention. People were seeking my help. People were coming to me. "Is she home? Is she home?" So I lived with someone. is she home? Or I was on the street, and it felt like it was San Francisco, because it was, I mean, LA sometimes has those steep hills too, but it just, there was this theme of water being around, and like my bee was there, and it's like she was going to do it. And the funny thing is, there's this theme of suicide in my dream, but it wasn't, now that I'm learning how to interpret my dreams, it wasn't the same sense of suicide, but it was this purposefully drowning, purposefully dying, feeling. And in essence, I'm thinking what it means is people going through this process of, you know, letting go of the old, coming out new, right? It's that same concept of baptisms, you know, like where you go into the water, you're baptized, and then you let go of your old life and come back as new. I wonder if this is what that meant. I wonder if they were getting dreams and it was just being interpreted literally. And what it really means is this emotional cleansing, really, of your wounds, emotional cleansing of your wounds, to embrace this new life, to embrace viewing life in a different way. So it's not this literal, once you're baptized, you're set free. It's has nothing to do with baptism. It's this cleansing, this, the death and rebirth is still the same symbolically. You just might do it multiple times depending on the wounds that you have, right? Depending on the cycles that you go through. So it takes away this skill of, oh, I can only do it once, right? This skill of like, I mean, because I remember there was guilt when I got baptized, and then I still engaged in those behaviors, right? That made me feel like I was a sinner, and then even at church, it was the constant, like, if you want to do a radical recommitment, right? Like, there's this shame still around, like, that you weren't able to keep your word, versus looking at it in a different perspective of just, there's these cycles that we go through. It's not just the big major life cycle, but like cycles within relationships, cycles within challenges, and if we cycles within lessons even, right? If you have to repeat the lesson, it's just a cycle, that's all. And you could, once you're made aware of what you need to do different, then you do it different as best as you can, giving yourself grace. And then if you fall into the same pattern again, hopefully you'll be a little more aware and you'll catch it sooner, right? So you might end up in the same cycle like 3 or 4 times, but your response rate might be a little different. It reminds me of that poem. There's a poem that someone wrote. I use it in therapy a lot, where someone's going down the street and falls into a hole, and this person didn't know that the hole existed. And the next little, I think it's like 4 or 5 little stanzas, I don't know what they're called, parallel, mini paragraph, little sections. And the second part, she's walking down the street again. She sees she forgets that the hole is there, and she falls in. And then the third one, she's walking down the same street. She sees the hole, but still falls into it. So now there's more of this awareness that I did it, that I saw the hole, I fell into it anyways. So there's ownership of it, like I got myself out of this hole, right? The first one, she didn't know it was there. The second one, she forgot it was there. The third one, she saw that it was there, but still purposely fell in the hole. So there's ownership, that one, where it's like, I knew it, but I still went through it. Then the fourth one was, she saw the hole, she walked around the hole, right? So she saw it, but she walked around the hole. And the fifth one was, I went down a different street. try to include if there's like a YouTube cute little video about it. But it's a really cute poem. But it speaks to how your level of awareness when you see something, a pattern, or something within your life that you're trying to work on, and to give yourself grace, right? Anyways, that's not what I was gonna say. So in my dream, my bee is doing that. My bee is I'm with her and her daughter in the car, and there's this feeling of desperation from her. There's this desperation from her. And she's wanting it. She drives the car into the water. She drives the car into the water. But I'm seeing it at different times. Like, it's like almost like there's this urge, but she holds herself back. She's crying to me. Oh, I forgot about that part. Right before that, she's crying. She's crying. She has a hard time crying. She was crying in my dream. And I was trying to hold her, and she just didn't know what to do. She burned her toe. She burned her toe. Whatever that means. But her toe was burned, like burned where she can peel off her skin. Like it was charred. And she was crying, and I was trying to hold her. But there was this push and pull, almost like she was trying to, because she's not used to crying. I forgot about that. And then there's this other scene where she's driving into the water with the car. I think Charlie and I stay behind. I don't remember. It feels like we stay behind, but then it also feels like she goes in and we're all three in the car and trying to get Charlie out. I'm trying to get all of them out, really, before the car sinks. But then there's this other scene. There's this continued feeling of like climbing up this steep street. That came up a couple times. And then I'm in this house. It's like those houses where there's people that need help, like a transitional home almost. So they're not kids, but they are at the same time. But there's this sense that they're adults too. And I'm being called to, like, I don't know that I'm being called. Like, I'm just trying to live my life, but people are coming for me. They're coming for me. And they're like pulling me, like, oh, you're gonna help. I'm like, I am? Like, I'm shocked. And they're like, yes, we need your help. And I'm like, oh. And I'm being pulled in different directions to help. But I never get to that point of what I'm actually doing, but I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled into this group here, and then I'm at my home, and then someone is literally like driving on bike and they're like, is she home? Is she home? And then there's someone's with me, like someone new in terms of love. But I can't tell who it is. Because if there's this familiarity with this person, and I'm embracing this person. They're like, I'm laying, like I'm interacting with this person in a different. It's clear that this person and I are together. But I can't tell who it is. But it's someone from my past. I can't tell who it is. Because there's this weird feeling of like you're familiar, but you're new. So there was this, like I know them, but at the same time I didn't. Because they seemed like a stranger at the same time. I can't tell who it is. I can't tell who it is. And there was this feeling that this person had also gone in the water. They had come out of the water. I remember that. There was fear. Where was the fear from? That was the first scene where I first... They were coming out of the water. They were coming out of the water. And it was like almost like I was pushing it away. Out of fear. Like, I don't know if it's not trusting it. Or them. I don't know if that's where it was coming from. Of just not trusting them. If that's where the fear was. But they were coming out of the water. Like there was this you know, it felt like it was like, not a zombie, but like where there was this clear, they were dead and now they're alive feeling. But I was afraid. And there was a part of me that was kind of pushing it away. And so that was one scene, but then in the other scene it seemed like I opened myself up more. That's what it felt like. Literally, because I was physically opened up more. And then this person just kind of, at first they were standing and then they just kind of laid on me. But that was like, there was that feeling of like, you're familiar. I'm opening myself up. You're familiar, but you're different. And I couldn't tell who it was. couldn't tell which person it was. I don't know. I saw someone else there. Ashley was there. What was she there for? She was all boss. She had her markets, but she was all bossing it for sure. Like she was different too. There was a lot more confidence in her. That was nice to see when she was there. Like total bossing it. So people I can remember. My nephew was there too. Oh, okay. That's all. I need to go running. A little self-care. Take care of these notes before I go do lunch, and then just keep working and get ready. That's all. Bye.
Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and